Firstly, though, I don't believe in this early on crap. If you're at a startup, you gotta learn on the job. You're not going to a corporate to train yourself. You're coming and you're wanting to gain experience at a startup. The experience doesn't come on a silver platter. The experience has to be learned. How did you get global presence?
We've met all our distributors on DMs or emails, emailed them, and just said, please let us send you free products. We don't want anything in return. We don't need an order. Just try.
Yeah.
Then let us know what you
Sampling,
feel.
right?
That's it. Lots of sampling.
Yeah.
And I literally have a budget for my exports manager. Like every month, 60,000 rupees worth of samples must go out internationally.
Wow.
And they convert.
Sampling works in the industry, right?
Yeah. In any industry across the world.
Yeah.
Sampling is go-to.
I feel packaging can be directly linked to your sale if you play it smart. Have you had any such experiences or examples that you can share with me to tell me a little bit about how is the packaging affected the sales of any of the brands that you've worked with?
I know that packaging is not a cost. It's an investment you're making to giving your customers a better experience, to communicate more clearly to your customers about your product,
Right.
to create a lasting impact, to make them spend more time associated with your product. And to me, that directly converts to sales. Diaspora Co., they're an Indian spice brand only available in the US, with the task to rebrand and completely repackage their spices because they wanted to hit retail. But they wouldn't get entry into retail until they made certain changes. They got such a good response. This was not even the launch of their packaging. They got such a good response with the new branding. They walked into Whole Foods as their first retail presence. Conservatively, 10x growth by just doing a packaging redesign.
Oh. What are the top 3 things that someone should look for? You know, things that just cannot go wrong with these basics.
Get the right consultants. You don't have the right experience. If you're only driven by passion, it's going to last for 6 months. It's a very tough business. You're firefighting all the time. You want people who have been in the industry with years of experience to guide you right. Go that extra mile. Very important to go that extra mile because I feel like consumer will always remember you for that. At Late Checkout, recently this happened. A guest walked in at like 12:30. Kitchen was shut. So there was no way we could help him with food. We offered cocktails, but he kept insisting that he needed something to eat. Now, at this point, my kitchen staff has left.
Right.
Only my service staff and my bar team is there. So me, my husband, someone from my bar team, my head chef was there. We had popcorn, we had Maggie. We made it and we offered to them at like 1 a.m.
How nice.
So I feel that going that extra mile is very important.
Because you speak about like the key pillars of branding, which is brand values, etc. Why is that really important for today's founders?
So you need to understand there are several parties involved in making a brand a brand. One party is the founder themselves. The second is the team behind it. And the third is the audience or your consumer. Only the founder is clear of their vision of their specific product or the brand that they want to have, which is where branding comes into the picture. So the role of branding is to make sure whatever the founder is thinking in terms of the product, how it's supposed to be portrayed, how it's supposed to help the consumer is conveyed to all the other parties. So the idea is not that you need to learn the values, the DNA, the archetype. The idea is whatever is going on in your head needs to be communicated simultaneously to all parties in one single language, so that everyone is on the same page as you.
Because many people assume when you have to build such a large business, you need to have an array of products to be offering. So how do you understand how to develop? Like how frequently were you releasing products? Do you think that was playing a critical role in your growth?
I think that's a misconception because actually when we started having exponential growth is when we started cutting down our product portfolio.
Really?
We had a very wide assortment, but I think it's good to have the width, but I do think depth helps a lot to build your brand identity.
Yeah.
I really do think it's better to have cult following products, even if you have like 5 products, but people really, really love it and come back to you for those. I think that's the best thing you can do.
As a founder and very, very personal to your journey, why did you decide to find a mentor? Was it always a part of your plan, or it just happened through a connection? And how has that journey been?
It was something that I think my dad, in credit to him, he identified that very early on and said, I'm not the best person to help guide you. Mom isn't. Who is? And I think having a mentor or consultants doesn't like solve everything.
Yeah.
You just feel like, okay, anytime you're in a difficult situation or you have to make a decision that you don't know if you're making the right one, it just helps to have someone qualified and experienced more than anything to help you navigate how you've at least arrived at that conclusion.
What has your experience been with negotiation? And maybe you can share some tips for women, any and every woman who's wanting to become negotiation front.
Like, let's think about it in a very first principles format, right? Negotiation in its inherent form is a conflict, right? Your two parties or multiple parties coming in which with their own interests in mind, and here you have to go and ensure that your interest is the one that comes out on top, right? You have to think about what you want from that negotiation, right? Like, I always do this. I always think of what is like best case scenario, middle case scenario, worst case scenario, and what am I okay to like leave, right? Because at the end of the day, you can't just go and be like, "Na meko sab kuch chahiye." Like, I'm not budging. That also doesn't work.
Point.
And at the same time, I can be like, take it all and just whatever. So you have to find a middle ground. So if you don't know what you want, what are you going to negotiate on?
When you were 21, 22, and your team, I'm guessing, was the same age or just 1 year younger, how did you conduct yourself as a founder so they understood the fact that there is still a higher authority even though we're small?
I've always maintained that friendly structure, to be honest, right? So I think even when we started off, the few employees that we had were around our age, and we were always friends with them. I think the one thing that we always ensured was that we gave them, again, coming to that point of ownership on a particular thing, and then like just a reporting structure to say, okay, this is sort of what has happened, or, this is how it trickles down. And I think just having that friendly, open environment automatically allowed them to respect us a lot more.
What were the 3 key things that you looked at before you set up your retail store that helped you get the sales?
I think the 3 most important things are location, location, location. Really. We're sitting on data, right? So what helps us in the decision making for retail locations is that we're already sitting on online data of customers, and we know by PIN code where we're getting the orders from.
Nice.
So we just really just map it out,
Right.
and be like, okay, where is the hospitals and where are these PIN codes and who is ordering, what is the quantity, and then we just find locations around that.